Good evening, everyone. My name is Lynn Kennedy, and I am the Mayor Pro Tem for the city of Rancho Cucamonga. Welcome to the beautiful and historic Gardner W. Springs Auditorium and the Ontario Chaffey Community Show Band's performance of cool jazz and love songs. Tonight's concert features a collection of music that pays tribute to some great names in jazz and several beautiful ballads that speak of love. It is now my pleasure to introduce my co-host this evening, my husband, Michael Kennedy.
Thank you, and good evening. I am delighted to be co-hosting this exciting performance with my wife. The show band has compiled a repertoire that celebrates Black History Month through the music of Duke Ellington, Billy Strayhorn, Bobby Timmons, Thelonious Monk, Nancy Wilson, and Nat King Cole. Also included in the concert are love songs composed by Jerome Kern, Cole Porter, and Harold Arlen, and several original jazz tunes written by Gabe Petrocelli. The show band is proud to feature guest artist jazz saxophonist Steve Alaniz, vocalist Skip Cain, and Dr. George Matamala, the principal of Chaffey Adult School, and guest conductor Gary Keith. In addition, the performance is highlighted by assistant director and tenor saxophone soloist Pat Arnold and the outstanding musicians of the Ontario Chaffey Community Show Band.
One of the giants of American jazz was band leader and composer Duke Ellington. He was based in New York City from the mid-1920s and gained national prominence through his orchestra's appearances at the Cotton Club in Harlem. Ellington wrote or collaborated on more than 1,000 compositions. His extensive body of work is the largest recorded personal jazz legacy, and many of his pieces have become standards. The opening song of our concert was composed by Billy Strayhorn in 1939 after Ellington offered him a job in his organization and gave him money to travel from Pittsburgh to New York City. Ellington wrote the directions for Strayhorn to get to his house by subway. The directions began with the words, "Take the A train," referring to the then new A subway that ran through New York City. Join me in giving the musicians of the show band a round of applause as they perform "Take the A Train." Taking the podium is Assistant Director Dave Shasma.
tap my feet. Another Duke Ellington jazz classic was written in 1953 by him, Billy Strayhorn, with lyrics by Johnny Mercer. The song has been recorded by Ella Fitzgerald, Carmen McRae, Billy Eckstein, Nancy Wilson, Bobby Short, and many other vocalists. As an instrumental, it has been recorded by hundreds of jazz artists. Sit back and enjoy Satin Doll. The show band will be conducted by George Oserio. Let us give them a round of applause.
1951, Irvin Gordon wrote a song with the original working title of Uncomparable. However, the music publishing company asked Gordon to change it to Unforgettable. The song was published in 1951 and recorded the following year by Nat King Cole in his album entitled Unforgettable, with an arrangement written by Nelson Riddle. On March 30th, 1961, Nat King Cole recorded the tune again in a stereo version of the Riddle arrangement for the album, The Nat King Cole Story. Tonight, guest vocalist Skip Cain makes his second appearance at the show band center stage. He is a versatile talent who possesses the ability to sing in several musical genres. Skip's repertoire ranges from Frank Sinatra to James Brown. Please join me in giving him a warm show band round of applause as he sings Unforgettable. The show band will be conducted by Dr. Gabe Petroselli.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far, like a song of love that clings to me, out of thought of you does things to me never before, as anything more than unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you stay. Oh, my darling, it's been possible for someone so irresistible when she thinks that I am impossible to. Thank you. Ontario Chaffey Show Band. How about that? I thought I would, before we go into the next song, I wanted to share something with you. It's kind of about the song. When I first heard the song, I thought about some things that had occurred in my life. And it brought me back to a time period when I used to love to dance. I used to dance quite a bit every weekend. So I went out to this new club that I heard about. It was a new dancing club. And inside the club, I met 3 beautiful young ladies inside there. And I got a chance to talk with the ladies for a while, but there was one particular lady that was so charming. And I got a chance to talk with her a little bit that evening. And so we parted, went our ways, and I thought, man, I should have asked that beautiful lady for her phone number. And I didn't. So anyway, I went back the following week, and when I went back the following week, there she was again, her and her 3 friends. So this time I got a chance to talk with her again, and I asked her for her phone number. But she didn't want to give me her phone number. So I asked again, just give me your phone number, and she says, well, I don't have a pencil and paper. And I said, well, just give me your phone number, and I'll have it. So she laughed, but she didn't realize at the time that I was in accounting. So I looked at numbers all day long. So she gave me her phone number, and I remembered it. So I called her the next day. I called her the next day on the phone, and she was surprised that I actually remembered the number. So when I talked to her, she says, I'm too busy, I can't talk to you right now. And so I thought, well, all things are lost. And so I waited, and then I called her a week later, and I said, hey, it's me again, Skip, I just thought I'd give you a call, see if you have anything available. And she says, no, I don't have anything available. And she says, I'm busy. I said, oh, well, if you're busy, I tell you what, why don't I give you my phone number, and then maybe you can call me. So she took my phone number. A week later, I called her back, still too busy. But that following week, on Sunday, she called my number. And I thought, wow. But she told me again she was too busy, and she told me why she was busy. It was just past Thanksgiving, and past Thanksgiving, I found out that she always did baking for the holidays. She said she didn't have much money, so for her friends and neighbors and family, she always baked cookies, and she made different kinds of jellies and things that she could give to them as gifts. And so that's what she did the entire period of time. And I called her a couple times, she called me back, but she seemed to call me every Sunday, so I knew I was still kind of in there, and she called me on Sundays and we talked, and I could hear her mixing up things. She'd have this grinder going, so I knew she was grinding up something. Or she'd have a big batter in her hands, and you could hear the spoon going through the knife, plop, 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 as she's stirring up something. Sometimes I could hear egg cracks, so I knew she was legitimate on what she was saying. But I was feeling the whole time, it's been several weeks, I'd really like to see this lady again. But there was no time, so I had to wait a long period of time, over a month or so, to finally get connected with her. And this song makes me think about that when I talk about this song. Sometimes you kind of have to wait until the time comes for the best time to talk and share with anybody. And so I had these difficult feelings trying to get through that entire time. And then finally spring came, she was done with her cooking, and guess what? I had a chance to have an opportunity to spend some time with her. And looking back 40 years from now, she's a young lady in my life. I just had to wait till spring came. And that's what this song reminds me of. So if you would please.
Persistence pays off.
It does.
In 1939, songwriter Jerome Kern and lyricist Oscar Hammerstein II wrote a song for the musical Very Warm for May. It appeared later in the 1944 film Broadway Rhythm, and again in the 1946 Kern biopic Till the Clouds Roll By, sung by Tony Martin. Popular versions of the song were recorded by Tommy Dorsey and his orchestra, Artie Shaw and his orchestra. The song has been recorded by many artists and is considered a timeless jazz standard. Join me in a round of applause as Skip Cain sings All the Things You Are. The show band will be led by Assistant Director Pat Arnold.
You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the lonely winter sing long. You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song. You are the angel's glow, the lights, the stars. The dearest things that I know are what you are. Someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I'll know that both are to mine when all the things you are mine. Are the angels glow, the lights, the stars. The dearest things that I know are what you are. So someday my happy arms will hold you, and someday I'll know this moment divine when all the things you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thelonious Monk was one of the great American jazz songwriter and pianist. In 1943, he wrote a composition that quickly became an all-time jazz standard. It is thought that Monk composed the song sometime in 1940 or 1941. However, Monk's longtime manager claims the pianist may have written it as early as 1936 at the age of 19. The song was eventually copyrighted in September 1943. It has been recorded by a wide variety of jazz artists. A version recorded by Monk's quintet was added to the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1993. It is one of the most recorded jazz standards composed by a jazz musician. Pat Arnold is featured in the show band's arrangement of Monk's iconic song. Join me in giving Pat a round of applause as he performs Round Midnight.
Sorry, broke my reed after warm-up. No, it's a synthetic, so it'll work. Just getting it in the right position. Okay, good to go.
The show band is proud to feature tonight's guest conductor, Gary Keith. He is a graduate of Chaffey High School and performed in the band program under director and later show band founder, Jack Mercer. Years later, Gary became the worship leader at a local church. He led the band, selected the music, played the piano, and directed an adult choir of 50 voices at the weekly worship services. Currently, Gary has retired from his music role at the local church, but continues to mentor pastors in the Western United States. He also serves as a board member and secretary of the Friends of the Show Band. Gary will conduct the 1954 hit song written by Bart Howard and recorded by Frank Sinatra, entitled Fly Me to the Moon. Let us give him a welcoming round of applause. It is now my pleasure to introduce the president of the Friends of the Show Band, Gary Ovitt.
Am I? Oh, I am now. Thank you. What a pleasure to be here. That's the talented Gary, and I'm the other Gary. I once asked my parents when I was old enough to know better. I said, Mom, Dad, did you name me after someone famous like Gary Cooper or something? I said, no, you're one of a kind. We just named you Gary. But my parents were wonderful, so I had a good young life, and my old life's pretty good too. So, right, Sue? Well, it's my pleasure to introduce or give credit to the many people who work behind the scenes to make these wonderful concerts go on. Our much deserved thanks go to the show band team that is behind the lines, such as the Miriam and Gary Keith, the talented Gary, Bill Bescaby, Susan Petruccelli, and Crystal Leonard. They are all members of our library team, as well as, very good, also Homero Chavez, who you just saw on the stage, is our band manager, Bob Mattis, the assistant band manager, and Steve Collins. And, well, they told me to talk a lot longer now that they need time. Not really. Anyway, Pride Pierce Films, the City of Ontario, the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin are all sponsors. The auditorium manager is Chris King. The show band photographer is Steve Davis. You see Steve walking around taking pictures. The lithographer that we use is Scott Noble, does an excellent job at producing our concert postcards as well as our programs. Our wonderful hospitality team is Ruby Levitt, John Hart, Arnold San Miguel, and we appreciate all that they do. My wife is involved as well. She is the person taking care of the narrator's table. So we're happy to do that, but she does the work, and I take the credit. As well, we're thankful for Lieutenant Commander Marty Jones, who is the NJROTC spokesman and leader, if you will. Does a great job. We're going to miss him one of these days. We're glad that he's still here this year. And we sincerely thank the generous sponsors of the different concerts that we have tonight. Lowell and Deanna Stark are our sponsors for this particular concert. Thank you to them for stepping up for that purpose. Lowell, you may know the name. He was a former band member at Chaffey High School in this band. As well, he came and was part of the foundation band, the founding fathers of the band when it first started over 30 years ago with Jack Mercer. He also was the chief of police for the City of Ontario. Did a great job. There was no crime when he was in charge. And in addition to that, he was the president of the Ontario Chaffey Community Show Band Friends, which I am now the president of. Funny story, he recruited me to be a member of it. A year later, he made me the vice president, and a year later he left. Here I am. I'm looking for that person I need to find to be my vice president. I already have one, but I don't know if I'll do that to him or not. In addition to that, we wanted to tell you to remember the hungry tuba that's sitting out there all alone by itself. It really works well when it has a lot of green. It has needs a lot of that in its diet, so please drop pills off in that. We need more money for the hungry tuba so that we can continue to mail out postcards and take care of the little incidentals that we have. Talking about Wildst, is it Wildst or Wildst? I'm talking about the hungry tuba. The next month, when we have our concert, we're going to have an opportunity for you, if you would like to step up and give a little bit more money. There will be a fundraiser to raise money to give to the 6 middle schools in the Ontario Montclair School District to buy instruments, because they really are very short on instruments, and most of the instruments that the students at the middle schools in Ontario and Montclair, they're borrowing them from the school district. They can't afford to have one, and so as they leave, the instruments are still there, but a lot of times they're a little rough and tough on them, and so we need to spend a little bit of money if we can and raise some money for that purpose. We'd like to thank those many people who have come tonight that are so important to us. Our treasurer for the Friends of the Ontario Chaffey Community Show Band, Jim Milheiser, who happens to be the city treasurer for the City of Ontario as well. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for that outstanding applause. That's all right if you want to applaud, talk over me. There we go. We'd also like to thank our 2 narrators, Michael and Dr. Lynn Kennedy. Dr. Kennedy, as you may not, yes. Dr. Lynn Kennedy was a teacher at one time and worked her way up to become a superintendent. She as well has become the president of the League of California Cities. She's president over 482 cities in the state of California, represents them all. She'll go back to the National League of Cities, and she will represent the state of California, so fantastic. And that all happens because of hard work, dedication, and performance, besides good looks and charm. I'd also like to thank Sue Ovett from the Chaffey Joint Union High School District Board. Good to have her here. I had to come because she's here. We want to thank Chris Cruz from the Upland School District. As well, I'd like to thank Eric Montague. Okay. Eric is a teacher here at Chaffey, and he's also a school board member for Cucamonga. I'd like to thank G. Michael Milheiser from the Monte Vista Water District Board. Dr. Matt Holden, the Chaffey Joint Union High School District Superintendent, who is here tonight. Dr. Kern Oduro, an Assistant Superintendent for Chaffey Joint Union High School District. One of the guest vocalists tonight is the Chaffey Adult School Principal, and that is Dr. George Matamala. And the other Gary, I'd like to once again introduce Friends of the Show Band Secretary. Good. Thank you, Gary. Gary's out in the crowd, I think. And finally, we are so thankful to all of the sponsors who have sponsored one of our concerts throughout the year, and there's still opportunities if you would like to get in. It's a very elite club. We give you a handshake, and it's all that good stuff. We give you a donut, and thank you for it. But anyway, we appreciate very much those of you who are willing to do so. Richard Ortiz is here tonight. We thank Richard for his many donations, donations that he has given, and we are very, very thankful, and we operate because of that. Thank you all for coming tonight. We have a great band, and I think that instrument's been repaired. That fell? I think we're good. All right, enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Gary. Before we continue, I'd like to extend our condolence to the family of Chaffey High School Band alumni Tom Corbett, who recently passed away. I know his mom is here with us, and she has invited his friends and family to attend his celebration of life, which is on May 14th at 3 p.m. at Red Hill Park Amphitheater. So again, our condolences for your loss. God bless you, and you're going to have flyers, I believe, out front. Okay. Thank you.
Frank Sinatra was one of the great artists who helped to connect popular music and jazz. He was assisted in a large part by a group of talented arrangers who were successful in both musical genres. One glowing example is a soulful ballad written in 1943 by the famous songwriting team of Harold Arlen and Johnny Mercer for the movie musical The Sky's the Limit. The song was performed in the film by Fred Astaire and later popularized by Sinatra in a number of subsequent recordings. Other artists who recorded the song included Sammy Davis Jr., who was backed by the Quincy Jones Orchestra, conducting the Count Basie Orchestra, Nat King Cole, Billy Eckstine, Tony Bennett, Mel Torme, and Louis Armstrong. The show band's arrangement this evening features talented guest vocalist Dr. George Matamala, who is also the principal of the Chaffey Adult School. George began singing in the 6th grade and continued to perform in high school, playing Danny Zuko in the Fontana High School presentation of Grease. In college, he traveled the country singing with the Azusa Pacific University Chancel Singers. He is a songwriter and multi-instrumentalist, currently playing bass and singing in bands who have played venues including the Coach House in San Juan Capistrano. Let us give him a warm welcome as he sings One for My Baby. The show band will be conducted by David Grasman.
Chris, we have anything?
It's 2:45. There's no one in this place except you and me. So set 'em up, Joe. I've got a little story I think you should know. We're drinking, my friend, to the end of a brief episode. So make it one for my baby and one more for the road. Got a routine, put another nickel in the machine. I'm feeling so bad. Can't you make the music easy and sad? I could tell you a lot, but but you gotta be true to your code. Just make it one for my baby, and one more for the road. You'd never know it, but baby, I'm a kind of poet, and I've got a lot of things I'd like to say. And when I'm gloomy, won't you listen to me till it's tucked away? Well, that's how it goes. And Joe, I know you're getting anxious to close. Thanks for the cheer. I hope you didn't mind my bending your ear. But this torch that I found, it's gotta be drowned, or it soon might explode. So make it one for my baby, and one more for the road. It's long, very long.
George is now featured in an original jazz tune written by Dr. Petrocelli. The song tells the story of a guy from New Jersey with a devious background who lacks ambition and makes up for it by telling tall tales. The sax solo is played by Steve Alaniz. Join me in giving George a round of applause as he sings Jersey Junkyard Joe.
This old guy from the iron-bound side of Newark. I'd always see him on a beat-up 49 Merc. He never seemed to have an everyday kind of job, but he loved to say that once he drove a limousine for the mob. Folks would avoid him, 'cause he always did too much talking. They had a hard time believing all the things he said. He claimed he was so smart, but he never really went to school. So mostly everyone would see him more or less a fool. I'm talking about the Jersey Junkyard Joe, the storytelling non-stop one-man show. I'm talking about the Jersey Junkyard Joe, the shyest looking crazy guy you'll ever know. It's been a long time since I I traveled back home to Newark. Got things to do there, I'm looking for that banged up work. I know I'm just a fool for riding around town till dawn. 'Cause going all along, the junkyard Joe is long gone. Jersey Junkyard Joe, a storytelling non-stop one-man show. I'm talking about Jersey Junkyard Joe, the shyest looking crazy man in the know.
I don't know if you caught that, but Dr. Petrocelli wrote that wonderful original jazz piece. Cole Porter was one of the great songwriters of American popular music. A large number of his songs became jazz standards, and many of his scores found success on Broadway and in film. One in particular was written in 1936 and introduced that year in the musical film Born to Dance. It was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song that year. The song has subsequently been recorded by hundreds of artists. It became a signature song for Frank Sinatra, and in 1966 became a top 10 hit for the Four Seasons. Please join me in giving the outstanding musicians of the show band a rousing round of applause as they perform I've Got You Under My Skin. The show band will be conducted by Pat Arnold. Moanin' is an album by Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, recorded on October 30th, 1958, and released later that year on the famous jazz label Blue Note. Originally, the album was self-titled, but the instant popularity of the bluesy opening track, composed by pianist Bobby Timmons, led to it becoming known by that title. Please sit back and enjoy the show band's arrangement of Moanin', featuring jazz saxophonists, solos by Steve Alaniz and Pat Arnold.
This evening, you have been listening to the outstanding jazz improvisation solos performed by Steve Alaniz, a graduate of Alta Loma High School. Over the years, Steve has performed professionally with Andy Williams, the Johnny Crawford Orchestra, and notable jazz artists that include Nancy Wilson, Bobby McFerrin, Conte Condoli, Glenn Campbell, the Dorsey Orchestra, Connie Francis, the Guy Lombardo Orchestra, and Trini Lopez, to name a few. He has traveled the world to perform, including stints at Ronnie Scott's in London in 1984 Olympics and the Montreux and North Sea Jazz Festivals. Steve has performed for Presidents Ronald Reagan, Gerald Ford, and Bill Clinton. His movie and television credits include CBS Guiding Light, Passions, Spider-Man, and many others. Renowned jazz musician Bradford Marsalis referred to Steve's style as having the spice of life. One of Steve's musical goals is to honor the great players who built jazz into the art form celebrated today around the world. Let us give Steve a warm round of applause as he plays the beautiful jazz ballad, Never Let Me Go.
Never It's getting late. I'll keep my comments short. I want to thank the musicians behind me, the greatest show band in all the land, Ontario Chaffey Community Show Band. Sincere thanks to the Woodland Celebration stand-up musicians. Thank you for providing the pre-concert recital. Many thanks to my esteemed board members, friends of the show band, for their unwavering support. Thank you, gentlemen. The generosity of Lowell and Deanna Stark for sponsoring our performance this evening, and Lowell for starting the band. And once again, our distinguished narrators, Lynn and Michael Kennedy. Thank you very much for gracing our stage. Assistant David Shaftsma. David, stand up for his work with our multimedia program, the slideshows, and everything else he does. And I'd like to thank my wife, Susan, for doing all my chores, so I wouldn't have time, so I'd have a lot of time to write the arrangements that you heard tonight. Thank you, Susan. Our talented conductors, Pat Arnold, Dave Shaftsma, George Osorio, and David Grassman. Stand up, guys. Guest bass player tonight, Robbie Davis. Stand up, Robbie. And our esteemed show band solo artist, Pat Arnold. Guest solo artist, Skip Cain. Come in, take a bow. Hurry up. Where is Skip? Gary Keith. Come on, take a bow. Gary, our guest conductor. Dr. George Matamala. And the incomparable Steve Alaniz. Finally, I want to thank you. You are the most loyal of audiences, and I appreciate you being here tonight.
On behalf of Dr. Petroselli and the entire show band family, the Chaffey Adult School, Chaffey High School, and my co-host, Michael Kennedy, I want to sincerely thank you for joining us for this wonderful performance this evening. We hope you have enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you all once again right here in Gardner W. Spring Auditorium on March 17th for the show band's performance of Music from Around the World. It will be featuring harpist Ellie Choate, composer and conductor Dr. Sylvia Mann, and the show band dancer Kathy Soderlin.
The show band concludes this evening's concert with a blues written by Dr. Petroselli several years ago for Steve Alaniz. The arrangement features an exciting jazz solo by Steve. Let us give him and the musicians of the show band a rousing round of applause as they play Blues for Steve.
Thank you again for joining us for cool jazz and love songs. Good night, be kind to one another, and drive home safely.